If you've been paying attention to Ring of Honor Wrestling the last couple of weeks, then you saw the meteoric rise of our next guest we've got on the line here. He is the Ring of Honor new television champion, Mr. Matt Taven, and joining us on the line for the interview this evening, the man who helped line everything up, Mr. Mike Pullen. Go right ahead.
And my first question is the standard one, Mr. Taven. How did you break into this wrestling business?
That's a funny answer. Well, I was a wrestling fan from the age of 5 or 6. Like, I got into it real young in the days of... I'm sorry?
Said that's about the same time I started watching.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I mean, I obviously fell in love as like a little kid with the over-the-top characters and colors of people like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. That's what originally sucked me in. And I just stayed a fan my whole life. And when I went to school, when I went to college, I mean, growing up, I kind of always wanted to be a wrestler, but everyone always tried to say, you gotta get your head out of the cloud and start doing, get a real job. So I went to school, and once I graduated college, I just happened to have a buddy that was training up here in New England in the indie scene, and I just came to check it out, and I jumped in the ring and started just running the ropes with him and kind of bumping around and fell in love and knew that I wanted to drop everything and really pursue wrestling because it's what I always loved and what I always fell in love with and always wanted to do, I should say. And then after that, I started looking up schools, and I headed over to Spike Dudley's lockup school in Fall River, Massachusetts.
That's a good person to have train you.
Definitely. I mean, I've had a multitude of people train me and help me out along the way, but Spike got me started. And I've gone down the line from Spike to the other trainers here down at Top Rope, to Mike Bennett, to Bob Evans, to going up to what is now New England Pro Wrestling Academy, but it's really the offshoot of Killer Kowalski School, Chaotic Wrestling School. And I think that's just a good base for everyone to have is to get trained by as many different voices as you can and really develop your own character and your own style and your own skills by taking everything that you can take from people and developing it into your own.
That's correct. I've heard different commentators talk about Brutal Bomb's school. How does he actually, is he as mean a trainer as people say he is? What is he?
I mean, I had a very short stint with Bob, but I've also seen him train other people. And I mean, the thing that I can always credit Bob for is that he, puts you in the ring and he really makes you work for it. He loves the new up and coming guys. He loves to really work with them one on one. And Bob will get in there with you, and he'll take everything until you fight back for it. I mean, until you literally realize that if you don't start fighting back, he's just going to, be on top of you the whole time. You're there kind of fighting for your life. And that part of my wrestling style, that fighting from underneath and always working to get myself back on top, definitely came from Bob.
Excellent. Who was your first match against?
My first match was on March 7th in 2008, and it was against an indie wrestler up here named Todd Sopel.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's actually a childhood friend of mine. Grew up in the same hometown as me.
Okay, you also made your debut again in NEW around that time, and Northeast Wrestling around that time against, I believe, Jay Gillette. What was it like working with Jay?
Well, NEW, I got into at the end of 2008. And I had a very short match with Jay. I believe Michael Sane, who is now part of the, I believe it's the Red Devil Fight Club or Fight
goodness.
Team, I believe he came down and interrupted the match. But the big thing that happened for me at Northeast Wrestling, and what really developed me as a wrestler, and I mean, all wrestlers go through this where they really start getting the confidence under themselves to kind of relax and go out and do their thing is Northeast Wrestling put me in the ring with Mike Bennett for a good 9 months straight. And it was really, still to this day, some of my favorite matches that I've ever had. But I said this in other interviews that Mike Bennett is without a doubt one of the best wrestlers out there. And anyone that steps in the ring with him instantly gets better and is made to look like $1 million. And I have to give Mike Bennett, a lot of credit for where I am today, because if it wasn't for riding down the roads with him and being able to wrestle him and really get to see firsthand what a great wrestler is and how a great wrestler can make an average wrestler better, I don't know if I'd be here today. But yeah, Mike, Northeast Wrestling did that for me, and I can't thank the people at Northeast Wrestling enough, of Michael Lombardi, who is one of the first people that really believed in me in wrestling, and for also putting me in the ring with such great people. I mean, he put me in the ring with Bennett, like I said, but then also, the Eddie Edwards of the world as well, and really helped me blossom as come into my own, I should say.
Actually, another question for Northeast Wrestling is you had a long-running feud with Brian Anthony for the NEW title.
Yeah.
And what was it like feuding with him for seemed like almost about a year and a half to 2 years?
Yeah, it was a good 2-year run. And, Brian Anthony's another one that is, people don't really know about him as much as they should, because exactly. He is really a great talent, and another one of my favorites. I was actually just about to say that as well when we were talking about Northeast Wrestling, and me and him have wrestled in everything from matches against each other to 5-way matches to cage matches to ladder matches. And the ladder match that you can get on DVD from their site is a match that I'm really proud of, and one of my favorite memories in wrestling is that match.
And, of course, also in NEW, you've had a match with a guy that I'll get into later. You'll be facing in Ring of Honor in a couple weeks, and that is Matt Hardy. What was that like?
It's funny because Matt is a guy that I can remember, being a kid all huddled around the TV with my friends, watching the Hardy Boys and emulating the Hardy Boys and loving, the things that they did. And then you find yourself in the ring with one of them. It's almost a little bit surreal. And then you add on the fact that match took place at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, and it was a great atmosphere. And it really it's kind of a testing point for yourself, because you want to be the best. And then you go in the ring with someone whose game has seen levels that you've never seen before, and you really want to test yourself against them. I mean, that's how a lot of people broke through. You see the Sami Callihan, he jumps in the ring with Finley, and then people start realizing, hey, Sami Callihan's someone to deal with. And that's what I was hoping to get out of that match. And I'm actually really excited to lock horns with Matt Hardy again, this time in New York City, at the ballroom, and a place that's kind of iconic to me, because, again, as a little kid, I remember seeing that building and thinking that building was so cool, and now I'll be in that building defending the television title against Matt Hardy and Adam Cole, and it doesn't get much better than that.
I also very much like the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Yeah.
But anyway, we go on to Ring of Honor now, I guess. And you made your debut there in, I want to say, January of 2012, although I think you had a couple of non-TV matches there at first. As a matter of fact, when was your first match in Ring of Honor?
My first match in Ring of Honor, it's funny that you said I made my debut there in 2012, because I think that's when people think that that's, my first match there. But actually, my first match at Ring of Honor was May of 2009. And I was on a bunch of different house show, DVDs throughout 2010, 2011, and then 2012, when they moved over to Sinclair, I started getting some regular TV work and trying to make the most of those opportunities. And that leads into, one of my other favorite memories in wrestling, and that's, going in the ring with another great wrestler, Mike Mondo. And, I think the Mike Mondo match was the match that really made people stand up and take notice. And, for me in Mondo, and I was a little disappointed at the time that, it seemed to be a launching point more for Mondo, but in the end, it definitely, people still talk about it, and it definitely is something that helped me along and got me to where I am now.
And of course, you also were on an iPay-per-view for Ring of Honor back in August, the Boiling Point show, against QT Marshall, Antonio Thomas, and Vinny Marseglia.
Yep.
four-way where the winner would actually get a contract. What was it like being on the iPay-per-view stage for you against those three?
Well, Vinny is actually a really good friend of mine, and someone that trained with me, and someone that, without a doubt, you'll be seeing a lot more of in the future. I mean, the kid's gonna
I
be,
certainly hope so.
yeah. I mean, without a doubt, he's too good not to be, and he'll definitely be, coming through your TV screen in one form or another, and I hope it's with Ring of Honor because he'd be a great asset to the company, but. As far as the other two guys, QT Marshall, someone that I was familiar with, and Antonio Thomas is another guy from the Northeast that I've been able to train with at times, and pick his brain because he's another one that's been to the big time, and it has just a wealth of knowledge of wrestling, and it's just great to talk to and kind of work with and develop your own skills through his eyes as well, but. As far as the match went, it was my first pay-per-view match, and also I went to college in Providence, so it's kind of like a little homecoming for me. So it was double nerve-wracking, but I really liked the match, and I thought it came off well, and I wish the outcome was a little different, but in the end, it's one of those things where you can check it off the bucket list. Like, you came back home to Providence, and in front of a sold-out crowd, you really rocked the place. So it's something that I look back on the smile.
Well, I want to go back because I just remembered that you also showed up in NWA on Fire, which is around where used to be around where I live, in Maine for a few years.
Oh yeah, I remember you at the shows.
Yeah, I was. And you actually had a series of matches with Luke Robinson. What was he like to work with? Because I know I did an interview with him a few months ago, and he spoke.
We're hitting all my favorite wrestlers. We're going over all of them. It's great. Luke Robinson is a victim of circumstance and is an absolute shame and a travesty that he isn't on TV. He has absolutely everything that you could ever ask for in a wrestler. He looks great. He talks great. He can move in the ring. He's charismatic. I mean, he is it. When you try to build a wrestler, you would build Luke Robinson. And the fact that, Luke Robinson isn't a national star is really a shame. It kind of makes you a little heartbroken about wrestling.
It makes you wonder what companies like WWE are actually looking for in their talent, and most of us kind of know what they're looking for in a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, when you think about what they're looking for, you would think Luke Robinson. He is just one of my absolute favorites to work with. I wish I could work with him every day. It would be that much. Every time we get in the ring, it's different, but it's exciting. He knows, what he does well. I know what I do, and we know what each other does. So, I can't say enough good things about all the matches I've had with Luke Robinson. I mean, we've wrestled for NWA on Fire, and we actually just wrestled up in May not too long ago.
I was there.
And I think, were you there for that one?
I was there, yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, because that's another one of my favorite matches. I mean, Luke is just, it really is a shame because he can do anything that he wants in that ring. And he got sour on wrestling from just getting dealt a bad hand a couple times. And, I wish that, someone would have woke up and really latched on to Luke Robinson.
And also in NWA on Fire, you had a brief teaming with Julian Starr and a feud with Brian Fury and DC Dellinger for a little bit. What was it like working with them, all three of them?
Well, Julian's another one that, same boat as Vinny. I've been able to train with Julian. We've obviously tagged together. And he's another one that don't be surprised when he pops on your TV screen sometime in the future because he's just so talented that, there's nothing holding him back. Someone's going to jump on him soon. But, he made a great tag partner for me because, A, we're friends and we got along well and, we worked well with one another in the ring and, our styles are really the same. And, we had a great feud for a while with, both Fury and DC because they complemented our styles so well. And as people know from the Northeast, Brian Fury is a guy that has been around here for a while and a guy that a lot of people, respect as a great wrestler. He's actually training, kids now and passing down his knowledge. He trains them at the what is now, Killer Colossus Old School, which is now turned into the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. So he's just unbelievable and a great wealth of knowledge as well, and all those kids training under him have a really good mentor to look up to.
Also, over last summer, you appeared for the Robbie Ellis Jr.'s tournament in Fairfield, which, how did you know anything about? How did you know Robbie anyway?
I knew Robbie from almost the day I broke into wrestling. I mean, he was just a character, to say the least. He's an older guy that still gets in there, and he loves wrestling, and he goes out there and gives it his all. And we happened to just be on the same shows when I first started out. And when I was asked to do the tournament, and when I was hearing who else was in the tournament, I thought that, man, this is going to be one of the best tournaments, around, and people really need to see this. And it really was. I mean, I had 3 really fun matches. Scott Reed and Vinny in the first round. Me and Mark Moment had a great match, and then the finals with me and Eddie Edwards. People, if they can get their hands on a copy of that DVD, they won't be disappointed, because you watch a tournament from beginning to end that's exciting, that's, full of talent from top to bottom, and you really see a bunch of young guys really go out there and show you what wrestling's all about these days. And
Yes, I was there. That was a fantastic show, and it's actually a fantastic DVD as well.
Yeah, no, it was a really great show. And I'm happy it all turned out well. Robbie really seemed to appreciate it. So, it was for a good cause, and you can't walk away from a show like that, feeling disappointed just because every guy and every match on the show was great. So.
Well, now we get into some of your more recent work with Ring of Honor and the Top Prospect Tournament. What was it like to be a part of that with the likes of Tadarius Thomas, Silas Young, who else was in there? Mike Seidel. Trying to remember who else was in there. But what was it like being in what?
I was going to say you had Tadarius, you had QT Marshall, Adam Page, Mike Seidel, Silas,
ACH.
myself, and ACH.
Yeah. What was your favorite match out of the 3 you had in that tournament?
I would definitely say me and Silas Young. Silas is a guy that, I had watched for a while, and, never knew if I would ever be in the ring with him. We were on similar shows together. I believe we did a Dragon Gate show at one point in the area up here together, and, I was always just a huge fan of his work. I thought he was great in the ring, and I was really excited when I found out that in the second round I'd be meeting him. So, I'm sorry, I'm a little sick, but, Silas and myself, I could see, if we had got ourselves in the ring again, having great matches, no matter when it was or
maybe a little more time added to the match that you had in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, those tournaments are, you try to win as quickly as possible. I was trying to pounce on an opportunity, so they go rapid fire, and you really, you're kind of in a sprint as soon as the match starts in those tournaments. But I'd love to see Silas Young down the road, and I mean, not to take anything away from ACH or Tadarius, because I like those matches as well. And actually I'm going to be a part of a 4-way this weekend with ACH, so we'll see how that goes.
I was going to get into that later. Also in that tournament, there was someone lurking around by the name of Truth Martini, and I was wondering, what is it like to now be managed by him?
Perfect, great, everything I've ever wanted. I mean, I first met Truth Martini in 2010 down in OVW. I had gone down to OVW to kind of go down there for a little bit, train with Dinsmore and Mondo, and also Ring of Honor was doing some shows down there. So there was a good opportunity for me to just kind of, like I said earlier, get a different wrestling perspective and kind of add it to my game. And when I first met Truth Martini, I was blown away by just his knowledge of wrestling. I mean, he has a school up in Michigan where he's from. I mean, if anyone in the Michigan area, yes, the House of Truth School, if anyone is anywhere in the area and even thinking about it being a pro wrestler and doesn't go to his school, you're a fool. Because that guy is someone that can really show you every aspect of wrestling and really
He has a
kind of
great
make
personality, too.
Oh, without a doubt. But like what attracted me to him is that he just gives you a different view on wrestling. That like he really kind of broadens your horizons mentally when it comes to wrestling. And in 2010, when I first met him, I thought he's down the road. This is someone that I'd definitely like to be linked up with. But I didn't think it would happen at Ring of Honor. I didn't think it would happen at top prospect tournament. But he talked me into it, and it's worked out very well since.
Read you from his book of truth.
Yeah, I don't know if the lines came from the Book of Truth, but whatever when he got in my ear, he started making some sense, and I thought, you know what, this is going to be my path to the top.
And of course, you alluded to it earlier. This weekend, Ring of Honor is in Asheville, North Carolina, and you have a 4-way proving ground match. Yourself, the aforementioned ACH, and 2 former TV champions. Yourself, of course, being a current TV champion, Roderick Strong and Jay Lethal. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, they call it a proving ground for the other competitors, but in a lot of ways, this is a proving ground myself, because I'm going in there with 2 people that are, Ring of Honor mainstays, staples of the company, people that you look at and you think like, when you think of Ring of Honor, you think of Roddy Strong and even Jay Lethal, and those guys have been up and down the road, and they are so experienced and so good that it's going to be a true test for me. And ACH as well, I've been in the ring with him before, but, he's got such a unique style and a unique offense, so you never know what might be coming next. So it's definitely something that I've been amped up for, and, I'm actually I'm on the road right now because I just left training up here at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, getting ready for that match because, I don't know what to expect from the 3 different guys in there, and I'm coming in there as prepared as possible and ready to really prove myself as, someone that ROH and the world really needs to stand up and take notice. Like the TV title is one thing. Now I'm going to run with the TV title and really make everyone see, what I'm all about.
Of course, as I aforementioned, you also have the big 3-way with Matt Hardy and Adam Cole, which we already talked about. Are there any other upcoming shows that you have coming up?
Tomorrow I'm going to be in Whitehall, New York, for World of Hurt Wrestling, and then obviously the next day I fly out to Carolina for Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor the following week, and then after that, back up northeast for Chaotic Wrestling up in Lowell on April 12th, and that's going to be a great show as well. And anyone that is in the Northeast and hasn't checked out a Chaotic Wrestling show should really do so because, a lot of guys that we talked about, the Brian Furies, the Julian Stars, the Vinny Marcelias, myself, we all are up at Chaotic, and we're trying to really show the people of New England what good wrestling is all about.
And I wish I could get up to those shows. I have trouble finding transportation for those, but I wish I could get up to those. I've seen a few.
Yeah, it's a hike from Maine, but if you're in the Massachusetts area, definitely worth the trip.
Well, I definitely hope to see you back up here in Maine at some point. I know IWE.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I mean, I know, God, what's the promotion? Wicked Good Wrestling. Who were in the last show that we were up there? Well, Cameron Matthews runs it, but I forget what it's called.
Pro Wrestling Experience. That was my friend Luke,
aka
Cameron Matthews.
Pro Wrestling, yeah, live Pro Wrestling or Pro Wrestling Experience Live. I mean, they've told me that they're going to have some more shows in the spring, so I definitely seems like I'll be making a trip up there. Yeah, so I plan on making a trip up there in the spring. I love Maine. The NWA on Fire trips that we used to take and spend a couple of weeks up in Maine. It was always a great time. I'd hit the beach and come back and get the shows and check out all Maine had to offer, and I love going up
in
there.
Mexico, Maine. I remember going there in 2011.
Good old Mexico, Maine. Yeah, I haven't been up there in a good year or two, but that was always a fun trip.
And now they're running in New Jersey somewhere, so.
Yeah, no, I see them. They're all over the place, but yeah, Maine was always a good spot.
They can't find a building to run here for some reason.
Oh, that's too bad. I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah.
Always really good crowds in Mexico, so it kind of sucks that they're not there anymore.
Apparently, the recreation center there didn't want wrestling there anymore or something.
Huh. That's too bad.
Yep. Kev, do you have any questions for Matt before I go on?
just kind of taking off the wrestling track for a few minutes, is there any other sports, amateur or professional, that you follow, Matt?
Oh yeah, no, I played sports all growing up, but my favorite two are without a doubt, football, basketball, and being from New England, I'm a huge Patriots and Celtics fan, and I follow those sports pretty close.
Now, one question that one of our other co-hosts, Peter H., typically asks is, are you also a fan of mixed martial arts?
You know what? Like, I have an interest in it. I check it out from time. I'm really not like one that goes and watches UFC all day or makes it a point to really see the pay-per-views. But when it's on, or when my buddies have it on, I definitely check it out. I mean, any kind of sport like that, like grappling sport that wrestling is derived from or can be used in, is definitely interesting. And it's you see these guys that are doing similar things like you, putting their bodies on the line, and you got to respect what they do.
Absolutely.
Now, have you gotten a chance to wrestle outside of North America?
No, I actually haven't yet. Outside of North America, no, I haven't left North America yet. I do plan on making trips to England, Germany, and Japan. I mean, those are on my list of
The bucket
things
list
to do in my wrestling career. You see guys like the Adam Coles, the Sam Callahans, the Eddie Edwards. The Roddy Strongs. They go all over the place and they come back and their game is just that much better because they pick up things from all over the place, and that's something that I plan on doing and really want to do in the near future to make my game that much better.
What would you like to accomplish in the next 12 months in Ring of Honor?
In the next 12 months in Ring of Honor, I would like to dominate everyone, hold on to the TV title, and come knocking at the door of the world title, and
whoever holds it by that time.
Show everyone that I'm not just the television champion. I could be the champion of the company, be the face of the company. Recently in the Hoopla Uncut segment, I made a statement that Taven's greater than Steen. We're owned by a television company, Sinclair Broadcasting, and I am the television champion, which would make me their top priority. So it's just a matter of time before they put the big belt on me and let me really run with the ball. And that's what I hope to do in the next year, and that's what I'm going to do in the next year.
Awesome. I actually have another one. Do you have any aspirations going to either WWE or TNA someday?
Well, I mean, I think like anyone, when like I said, I was a basketball, football player, baseball player growing up, and played basketball into college, and as a little kid, you're in the driveway, and you're like, all right, I'm at the NBA Finals in 5, 4, 3, and I check up the buzzer beater to win the game, or you got the football, and your buddy throw it to you, and I'm at the Super Bowl, I'm catching the winning pass. So as a wrestler, ever since you get started, you envision yourself at WrestleMania, and in front of 80,000 people looking around and saying, hey, this is the Super Bowl of wrestling. And I'm here doing exactly what I've always wanted to do. And I think anyone that's in wrestling that says that they don't want to be at WrestleMania and they don't want to, beat the guy is lying. Because if you don't have that passion to be at the top, I'm not really sure why you do it. So yeah, without a doubt, I would love to wrestle at WrestleMania. That is my ultimate goal. And that's really kind of a goal that I set for myself, but at the moment right now, Ring of Honor is my focus and is where my mind and heart is, and, I'm going to dominate that first.
Excellent.
Well, every wrestler wants to go to WrestleMania, but let's be honest, you're the Ring of Honor television champion. You're the baller. You're calling the shots here right now. You're getting ready to face Matt Hardy here in a couple weeks, and you mentioned that he was an idol of yours that you looked up to. Who's not in Ring of Honor right now that you want in the promotion to defend that title against?
I guess there's a plethora of people that I could answer that question against, but, what I would like to see in Ring of Honor and what I think that they've always been based on and what they always kind of pride themselves on is, young, hungry, talented guys that are making a name for themselves that come into ROH and they tear down the house every night. So the young, talented guys that come from this area that I know that could easily walk into Ring of Honor and jump right in and kind of show what they're all about is Vinny Marseglia, Julian Starr, Biff Busick up here, the Brian Fury. There's Luke Robinson, there's Dalton Castle. I mean, there's so many good guys that are stars in the making, just waiting to, be plucked from the sky. And I would love for any of those guys to come in and really test me because, A, I think it would showcase them, and B, it would showcase me at the same time. So.
Got a question from our chat room here from Angry Tenzai. He mentioned that you once had a valet named Casey Ray.
I'm looking at her right now.
Awesome.
She's still my valet. I mean, she still valets me from place to place, and we're actually heading up to upstate New York tomorrow, and she's here right now, actually. Hi.
All right. I think that pretty much answered the rest of Tenzai's question in the chat room. So I think that wraps up all the questions we've got from the chat and wraps up all my questions as well. Mike, do you have anything else to add or ask?
How can people reach you on like social media and everything if you want to be?
Pretty easy. I mean, all my stuff is under Matt Taven, and if you know how to spell Taven, which is Taven, you can find me anywhere. Facebook.com/Matt Taven. My Twitter handle is @MattTaven. And if you want to email me for, bookings or merchandise or anything, it's MattTaven@gmail. So pretty easy. Easy guy to find. Come find me.
And I think that is it for my questions as well.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show tonight, Matt. Really appreciate you taking the time. Once again, everybody, the Ring of Honor top of the class champion, your new television champion as well, Matt Taven. Thank you for joining us tonight, and best of luck in your upcoming match against Matt Hardy.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care.